Hey everyone, Kate here, the Reluctant Christian Feminist, and we are here to talk about Bible tools. And these are online free Bible apps that I use on my phone all the time. So let's get started. Okay, so I want to talk about 4 categories of tools first. The first are Bible reading tools. The second is prayer. The third are Bible research tools. And then the fourth are notes. I have 2 apps that I really use for Bible reading all the time, 3, but the third one I use a lot for all the tools that comes in here. So I'll save that one for the Bible tools. For Bible reading, I specifically prefer the Bible app and Bible Gateway. Now, some of my favorite versions are not in both of them, so I use the 2 all the time. What I really like is having both of the apps open at the same time to the same passage, and I can just easily go from one to the other. I sometimes find that easier than even changing the version, so I can just switch from one version to the other without having to hit another menu. So the Bible app and the Bible Gateway, those are my primary Bible reading tools. The prayer app, I only really have one prayer app that I really like and I use quite a bit, and it's called Echo Prayer App. In this particular one, it feels like I'm texting God. So if you ever feel like, man, I wish I had a friend to text about this, I was thinking about that a couple of years ago and thinking, I really need an app so I can text God. And I found this Echo app and I downloaded it and I keep some prayers in there. And it's really interesting to go back there and see some of the old prayers that I wrote. Sometimes I'll update them even. You can share your prayers. You can see other prayers that other people have shared. The third category is Bible tools. And there's really just one tool I really like, but there's 2 that I use. So the one that I really like is Blue Letter Bible for reading. It is probably the easiest of the apps that I have to navigate from one to the other. I love Bible Gateway that I mentioned earlier, but the navigation from one to the other is not as easy. It doesn't matter which book you're in, it automatically starts back at Genesis, and it's a long scroll, where the Blue Letter Bible app has 2 tabs, one for Old Testament, one for New Testament, and it's laid out in one page, so you can see exactly what book you're looking for and just click on that book. There's no scrolling on that one. So I do like the navigation in the Blue Letter Bible quite a lot. I also like the fact that it has like the concordances and commentaries in Bible history and Bible dictionaries, all in the free app. So it does make it really easy to look up the context for a lot of the things that you write. So you can see the history of the book. You can see the history of why that passage was written that way. It is absolutely fabulous. Now, as with all commentaries, those are people's opinions, so take it with a grain of salt. But when you don't have the context for it, it can sometimes open that up so you can understand more about it. But Bible Hub is actually a pretty easy one to use as well. I do like the fact that Bible Hub has a Strong's Concordance, but available in multiple languages, whereas the Blue Letter Bible, it looks like the Strong's Concordance is really only pulling from King James. So I like the fact that when you choose to look at the Strong's, you choose which version, translation you want to use. And then it shows you the verse, and then you click on the word where it's highlighted and it opens up the concordance for that word. So the navigation to the concordance is a little bit easier to use than Blue Letter Bible, but I still like Blue Letter Bible. I've been using it for probably over 10 years. And of course, Blue Letter Bible also has an online resource that is also very easy to use. So I use it on my computer desktop as well as on my phone. And the final tool that I use online when I do my Bible studying and Bible reading is my notes, because I like to take notes. Now, for a lot of people, and sometimes I will write down my notes by hand, but what I find is that it's actually a lot easier if I put it online on my phone. I will write my notes, and that makes it so that I can easily go somewhere else and use it. For instance, I use Google Keep as my primary note-taking tool. And then when I open up my computer and I'm in my Google account, I can access all my notes on my computer as well as on my phone. So that's there all the time. Of course, that's the same for the other notes that I have too, because I will sometimes put notes in a Google Doc if I feel like the notes that I want to take are going to turn into some other type of content. Maybe I have another YouTube topic that I'm thinking about, or maybe a blog entry, or maybe a post for social media. So sometimes when I feel like that's going to turn into a bigger content later on, I will put it in a Google Doc instead of the Keep Notes. The other place I've put notes before, and I really like the way it's organized, is OneNote. And that's the one that if you already have Microsoft, OneNote is already available. But if you don't have Microsoft, there's kind of a cost to the OneNote note-taking app. And so that's why I have it here as a third option. I no longer have a Microsoft account, so I don't really use OneNote anymore, but I do like the way it organizes things with different tabs and different organization things. So I can have like 14 different topics that I generally go to, and then I can organize my notes into the right topic so I can easily find exactly what I'm looking for. However, one of the things I love about electronic notes that you don't have with handwritten notes is if you know you talked about something or wrote a note about something at some point in your life and you don't remember where it is so easy to use electronic tools to use the find feature so you can find it later again. And that's why I love electronic notes. Now, I talked about the four categories of tools and apps that I use all the time on my phone, but I also want to bring up one other one that isn't in a category of its own, and that is a dictionary. And it's very helpful sometimes when you think you know a word, but then it seems kind of weird to look up the word because sometimes it could have a different use than what we're thinking of. The concordance often clarifies that, but just looking on a regular good English dictionary can be very helpful. I tend to use a Merriam-Webster. I downloaded it to my phone and it's easy to use. The other two tools that I didn't mention in this whole list today, but I'm going to mention it now, is kind of like, I have these tools, but I don't really use them very often. And that is the Logos Bible tool and another one called Bible Tool. So I have those. I don't really use them very often. I haven't deleted them off my phone because I will take the time at some point to explore them. So what kind of Bible tools do you use? And do you use electronic tools when you do your devotions? Or do you prefer the physical book in front of you in physical notes? Some people really like that kinesthetic feeling of paper and feeling the Bible. I have a hard time with my vision going all sorts of places. So I find it much easier to use the phone than it is paper at this point because it has to be at the right distance for my eyes. My eyes don't work as well as they used to. I'm not going to complain about it because my eyes are not as bad, but I just find it easier to use the phone as my eyes are getting older and more difficult to see paper from a certain viewpoint. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm curious to know what Bible tools you use, and have a blessed day.